This is brought to you by Jumpstart IT Academy. Get skilled in IT over a college degree. Go to jumpstartitacademy.com and you can check out books, courses, and coaching that helps you excel in IT and overcome the learning curve so that you can fast track through the IT profession and you can also fast track through college. So this article was written by Forbes.com. It's September 24th, 2018 article. Even though we're in 2020, this article is still this article still has relevance. So let's take a look at it. What are artificial neural networks? A simple explanation for absolutely anyone, and that's just what we need. Okay, so as I go through this article, this is the first time I'm reading this article. Like I said, I like reading articles fresh. Some articles I'll read and do some studying beforehand if there's certain points that I want to make or drive home to you. But this particular article, I just wanted to land on me in a fresh way so you can just get my instant thoughts, so you can hear the thoughts of an experienced engineer in terms of what I think instantly as far as some technology that I've never seen before. And you'll get an idea as far as how my mind works in terms of how I'm able to connect all this technology together and what the possibilities of what that means for the future. So let's get started. There are many things computers can do better than humans. Calculate square roots or retrieve a web page instantaneously. But our incredible brains are still a step ahead when it comes to common sense, inspiration, and imagination. Inspired by the structure of the brain, artificial neural networks are the answer to making computers more human-like and help machines reason more like humans. So it sounds like what they're delving into is they're taking the way that humans think and they're going to allow, I would say, artificial intelligent robots to be able to be adaptive in their learning. So I would call this some form of adaptive learning that they would be able to add to the knowledge that they already have. And there would have to be a communication system of networks of um, other robots or wherever the source where this information is coming from, that it would leverage this knowledge and correlate it and put it together so that the knowledge can be acted upon. What I'm noticing is when you look at like Netflix or these Hulu or whatever these streaming platforms, you'll notice there's a lot of series coming out talking about robotics or talking about artificial intelligence. And I want you to keep in mind that this is what they're talking about. They're talking about artificial neural networks where you see robots that are able to adapt and learn and basically add to their learning. And now understand that the human capacity, they say we use like up to 5% of our brain. Well, imagine an artificial intelligent robot is able to use 100% of its capabilities. Then you can see why they have movies where robots are overtaking the humans. Now, there may be some scariness and some fear involved with that, but just do understand that the humans created the robots. So if the humans program the robots to destroy themselves, that would just be the choice of the humans, which I would hope that humans would be smart enough not to make a robot to kill itself. That's the hope you're having in humanity when you read articles like this. So what are artificial neural networks? Human brains interpret the context of a real-world situation in a way that computers can't. Neural networks were first developed in the 1950s to address this issue. An artificial neural network is an attempt to simulate the network of neurons that make up a human brain so that the computer will be able to learn things and make decisions like are in a human-like manner. ANNs are created by programming regular computers to behave as though they are interconnected brain cells. So they're basically using computers to act as brain cells, and the cabling and the data that flows through these cables are acting like neurons. How do artificial neural networks work? Artificial neural networks use different layers of mathematical processing to make sense of information it's fed. Typically, an artificial neural network has anywhere from dozens to millions of artificial neurons, called units, arranged in a series of layers. The input layers receives various forms of information from the outside world. This is the data that the network aims to process or learn about, the outside world. So from the input unit, the data goes through one or more hidden units. The hidden unit's job is to transform the input into something the output unit can use. I want you to visualize it like this. And I'm just going to create this scenario off the top of my head. Visualize an artificial intelligent being who is a fire robot, and it's gone to a fire, and it's able to use basically it can have the structure of the unit, the apartment building or the building, download it to its brain. It can now know where to go, where humans would be, the statistical likelihood of who would be there. Let's say it has the ability to measure human temperature, so it would know where humans would be, especially if they're looking for humans that are still alive. If the fire has gone to the point where it's fatal, then this artificial intelligent robot would be able to go and save people who were in close proximity and who were closer to the fire or where the fire is raging. So this is the type of information that would be the a good use for. This is a scenario that would be of good use to something like artificial neural networks. That could be way off, but I'm just telling you some of the possibilities and plausibilities in using technology like this. So let's move on. The majority of neural networks are fully connected from one layer to another. These connections are weighted. The higher the number, the greater influence one unit has on another, similar to a human brain. As the data goes through each unit, the network is learning more about the data. And on the other side of the network is the output units, and this is where the network responds to the data that it was given and processed. Cognitive neuroscientists have learned a tremendous amount about the human brain since computer scientists first attempted the original artificial neural network. One of the things they learned is that different parts of the brain are responsible for processing different aspects of information, and these parts are arranged hierarchically. So, input comes into the brain, and each level of neurons provide insight, and then the information gets passed to the next, more senior level. That's precisely the mechanism that ANNs are trying to replicate. So what they're doing is they're taking the cognitive functioning of a human brain, and they're duplicating or simulating it in using computer system networks and using the data in computer system networks. So, in order for ANNs to learn, they need to have a tremendous amount of information thrown at them called a training set. When you are trying to teach an ANN how to differentiate a cat from dog, the training set would provide thousands of images tagged as a dog, so the network would begin to learn. Once it has been trained with a significant amount of data, it will try to classify future data based on what it thinks it's seeing or hearing, depending on the data set throughout the different units. So this is that data that's going to turn this robot or artificial intelligent being that's going to be utilizing an ANN, it's going to turn it into a super brain. In other words, it's going to be able to make decisions that I believe will be higher in thought, faster in action than most humans. And I believe that they're going to input some type of statistical model that will be able to determine the action that this being or this artificial intelligent creature or robot would take. And I believe that before they deployed technology like this, they would ensure that there were no harm to humans, no harm to property, and that it would execute according to the function that it was created to do, such as the scenario example I gave you of a artificial intelligent robot who is a fire robot or a firefighting robot. During the training period, the machine's output is compared to the human provided description of what should be observed. If they are the same, the machine is validated. If it's incorrect, it uses back propagation to adjust its learning, going back through the layers to tweak the mathematical equation known as deep learning. This is what makes a network intelligent. In other words, this artificial neural network has a great deal of information, and all of this information is going to help it make some very complex decisions faster, quicker, and more accurate than most humans. So I can see something like this being used to replace police officers. or even soldiers. And like I mentioned, firemen. There are several ways artificial neural networks can be deployed, including to classify information, predict outcomes, and cluster data. As the networks process and learn from data, they can classify a given data set into a predefined class. It can be trained to predict outputs that are expected from a given input and can identify a special feature of data to then classify the data by the special feature. Google uses a 30 layered neural network to power Google Photos as well as to power its Watch Next recommendations for YouTube videos. Facebook uses artificial neural networks for its deep face algorithm, which can recognize specific faces with 97% accuracy. That's that statistical model I was telling you has to be behind something like this. That would be the decision making processor. It's also an ANN that powers Skype's ability to do translations in real time. This is awesome. So it's going to get to the point where you don't need to learn. It's going to get. I can see this being used for languages where you don't even have to learn the language. It processes the language so fast that it'll be as if you are a master at that particular language. That's what I can see it doing in the sphere of linguistics. Computers have the ability to understand the world around them in a very human-like manner thanks to the power of artificial neural networks. This was an exciting article. The ideas just started just giving creative bursts of understanding of what could possibly be with a technology like this. I am so excited about this technology. I think that you, as the viewer, should take into consideration as far as what you should do with technology like this. Look at some of the certifications or artificial intelligence areas where you could look at the opportunities to see how you could add some of your creative thought and some of the things that you think could be created from something like this. My personal goal with Jumpstart IT Academy is to gear thinkers into thinking innovatively. And once these people learn how to think innovatively, that they would start thinking about products and services, or services from products, or products from services, to be able to create technologies from technologies that are basically changing the landscape of how we live, think, and speak in this world and interact with one another. So that's my overall, I would say, vision for Jumpstart IT Academy. My vision is that people would learn and get launched into IT, be able to see IT innovatively, and then be able to take that and change the world for the better with technology. So, and you can go to jumpstartitacademy.com and you can check out our courses, Fast Track to IT or Fast Track to College. You can also book a call with me for a 1 hour or a 30-minute coaching session where I can assist you with navigating the IT industry or helping you figure out what certification you want, or even dealing with political issues at your job, because political issues can be an end to a particular job. And if you have that mentor to be able to guide you through that difficult constraint, then that could be helpful for you because it could save your job literally. Or I can help you with other matters pertaining to your professional journey. Also, there's books, Communicate, Not Communicate, 8 Keys for Leaders and Professionals to Communicate Effectively. Communication is the key if you want to succeed in this world, and specifically in IT, as technology is complex. We need to relay information and we need to receive information to make sure we confirm how we do that. Also, it'll teach you how to practice proper decorum in a technical setting and dealing with highly trained professionals who, in most cases, are egotistical, in some cases not, but it'll just teach you how to deal with all the nuances and dynamics of working in the IT industry. You can go to jumpstartitacademy.com where we help you excel and reduce the learning curve in the IT industry for you. Get skilled in IT over a college degree, Jumpstart IT Academy. See you in the next video.